most people are going to stay poor forever. And in this video, I want to go into this topic in depth. Let's get started. In 2022, I did 15-minute free consultations for whoever wanted to book a meeting with me. The most insane thing that I came across in one of those meetings was somebody who had a loan, a payday loan from Money Mart. And if you look at the fine print to figure out what kind of rates Money Mart is charging you, you're going to be shocked because you can see here, British Columbia, the rates are 365%. You can see here, Manitoba, the rates are 425%. It's crazy to me that these kinds of loans can exist, but it makes a lot of sense because most people have no financial literacy. They don't understand finances at all. I want to show you an example of what a loan would look like through a payday loan company, or I consider them loan sharks. You can see here the loan amount would be $500. So if you need to borrow $500 for whatever reason, and let's say you hold it for 10 years. I know most people don't do this. Most people will probably try to pay it back ASAP, but there are people who hold on to these loans for 2, 3, 4 years, and I've come across them myself. So let's say 10 years, 425%. It's compounding monthly. You pay back a little bit of it every month. If you make $177 payments every single month for 10 years, 120 payments, you would have paid $21,250. The total interest would be $20,750. This is on a $500 loan. $500 loan at 425%. Now I know that's completely ridiculous. Most people aren't going to have that kind of rate. But let's say, for example, you borrow money to buy a car. So you buy, let's say you buy a Cadillac Escalade. I've seen videos about this. Cadillac Escalade costs like $120,000. You have an 8-year term. I've actually seen that before, 96-month term where somebody's paying every single month. And it's not going to be a 425% interest rate. But let's say, for example, it's a 13% interest rate. 13% interest rate, you're going to pay $2,000 every single month. Your total payments are going to be $193,000. And the total interest that you would have paid is $73,000. And keep in mind that this isn't even the worst terms that I've seen. I've seen people paying 29% on, let's say, a $30,000 car. $30,000 car, 29%. You can take a look at this. This is worse than a credit card. So $30,000 car, 8 years, 29%. You're paying $806 every single month. The total interest is more than the amount that you borrowed, $47,000 in interest. The total of the 96 payments is $77,421. So you bought a $30,000 car, you actually paid $77,000. And the reason why people get into these deals is because they don't understand personal finance. They don't understand the problem with debt. They don't understand the problem with high interest loans. One last example. I've seen a lot of people who are paying back their student loans, and after 20 years of making payments, they still have exactly the same balance. This isn't somebody that I came across in a meeting. I've actually seen multiple videos on this. I've seen multiple people complaining that they have, let's say, $80,000 in loans. The interest rate on it is like 8%, and the minimum payment is being paid. They're paying the minimum payment every single month. I don't know what that minimum payment ends up being, but they keep making payments and they keep making payments and they keep making payments, but the amount that they owe never changes. It never falls because all they're doing is they're paying the interest. They're just making the interest payments every single month. So let's say you have $80,000 in loans, 8% interest rate, $6,400 per year in interest. If you pay $533 every single month, $533 every single month, all you're doing is paying off the interest. You're not paying off any of this loan amount. You still have the principal. You still owe the principal, and that's going to keep accumulating interest every single month. It's going to keep going, and it's going to keep going forever until the day you die. And this is why you need to learn personal finance. I have a community where I offer you a free personal finance basics course. You can go ahead and check the trial out. The course will be available for you. You can cancel the trial afterwards if you don't find any value in it, or if you find value in it, use the community, use the free course, learn as much as you can, and then you can cancel, and that's perfectly fine. But my point here is Learning personal finance is going to change your entire perspective on how the world works. You're going to understand how the banking system is designed to keep you working forever. And they do that through interest. Like I showed you with that example of the student loans. If you borrow money once, you're on that hook forever. You can't even claim bankruptcy and have student loans removed from your record. You can never have them removed. You have to pay for those student loans forever. And this is why I think that understanding personal finance, understanding interest rates, understanding loans, understanding debt, understanding all of that is so important. There's a very specific formula that you can follow to build wealth over the long term. And this formula can be followed by anybody. Doesn't matter what your level of wealth is, doesn't matter how much you can save. The formula is, like I said, very simple: earn more, spend less, and invest the difference. The thing that I like to focus on is earning more and investing the difference. If I earn more, then I can invest more. And my investments will give me asymmetrical returns. The problem with most people, and this is something that Ramit Sethi said, you might know him, you might know who he is, you might have read his book. But the problem that most people have is they focus on the $3 decisions. They ignore the $300,000 decisions. That's actually one of his quotes, which is really smart. I think it's so important. What people do is they focus on cutting their expenses, even though there's a finite amount of expenses to cut. You can only cut your expenses to a certain level. And at that point, after that point, you're going to notice a significant decrease in your standard of living. So let's say you get groceries, the price of groceries goes up every single week, every single month, every single year. It'll continue to go up. So if you spend less on groceries, of course you can get cheaper food, but that cheaper food is going to be lower quality. So you're taking nourishment away from your body because you want to spend a little bit less. And even then, no matter how much you cut your expenses, you're still going to see that your expenses go up even more. Somebody who's cut down their expenses as much as they can, they're still going to see their food bill go from, let's say, $50 a week, maybe 10 years ago, to $150 a week today. So even if they try to spend less, even if they cut down to the bare minimum, they're going to see their expenses go up. Even ramen has increased in price by like 3, 4 times. So no matter what you do, if you only focus on cutting your expenses, on spending less, then you're always going to be trapped in this constant cycle of trying to spend less, but seeing your expenses rise. And that'll continue to happen forever because everything is getting more expensive. The value of the dollar is decreasing. The value of every currency in the world is decreasing. And because of that, your entire lifestyle gets way more expensive over time. The thing that I think you should focus on is earning more, because when you earn more, you have literally infinite potential for how much you can earn. There's absolutely no limit to how much money you can earn because money is abundant. You can have as much money as you want to. You can keep creating more and more value and serving more and more people, and all of those people will pay you. So let's say, for example, you work a job, you're making $70,000 per year. If your expenses go up and your income is fixed, but your expenses go up faster than your income goes up, let's say you get a cost of living raise, your expenses rise by 5%, but your cost of living raises 2%. What are you going to cut out? What are you going to decrease in your spending to make sure that you can keep investing the same amount or even stay out of debt? What are you going to cut out? There are only certain things you can cut out. Maybe you can move to a different area, but that comes with some risk. Let's say it's a crime-ridden area and you put your family at risk, you put yourself at risk. That's a way to spend less. But is it worth it? Is that trade-off worth it? You can also eat more processed foods. Of course, that's going to damage your body 10, 20, 30 years from now. You'll probably regret it. I don't personally think that's worth it. But on the other hand, let's say you create some kind of product or you do something where you're helping other people. And this is something you have to think of yourself. My goal is just to change your mindset. Most people have this mindset that they can't make more money and they want to rely on the system to pay them more. They want to rely on the billionaires to pay them more, but they're not going to. They're going to do whatever they can to not pay you more. So your goal here should be to build your mindset to a point where you understand that your earning potential is infinite. You can earn as much money as you want to. You can earn $10,000 a month. You can earn $100,000 a month. So if your earning potential is infinite, you can still live your life and enjoy your life. You can spend your money on the things that you want, but you can still invest the difference because you have, let's say, $15,000 a month in income and you're spending 10,000. You have $5,000 a month that you can invest. That's wild. Most people can never reach that point. But even let's say you are earning 70,000 today and you start some kind of side hustle, let's say your 70,000 covers all of your expenses, you start some kind of side hustle that makes you an extra $5,000 a year. That's $5,000 a year that you can invest and get asymmetrical returns on. What I mean by asymmetrical returns is whatever you put in, it's going to multiply and it's going to multiply and it's going to multiply and it's going to give you 100% returns, then 200%, then 500%, then 1,000. It's going to compound and compound until the day that you sell your assets. How you do this is up to you. I personally like Bitcoin, but if you want to do something else, if you want to go precious metals, I don't care. As long as you're not holding fiat currencies, do whatever you can and get rid of those fiat currencies ASAP because those fiat currencies are designed to lose value over time. And this is one of the problems that I think we have in our society today. Everybody's struggling because personal finance courses were never mandatory. For example, I get a lot of people who are in the healthcare field who have never taken a finance course, maybe in high school, and at that point they didn't understand personal finance at all. It didn't really apply to them because somebody else was making the decisions for them, so it didn't really matter to them. But after that, they never took a single course. So they're earning a lot of money. They're trying to cut their expenses, but they're not investing the difference. They're just holding it in cash. They just have it in their bank account. They have it in a GIC, a CD. They have it held in a high yield savings account because they don't quite understand that not only do you have to earn the money in the first place, but you also have to keep it. You also have to make sure that that money isn't stolen from you. Fiat currencies are designed to steal the value that you accumulate because what happens with fiat currencies? They lose value over time. Everything gets more expensive in terms of fiat, no matter what. Houses get more expensive, cars get more expensive, your food gets more expensive. Everything will continue to get more expensive. So you think that prices are bad today? They're going to be 10 times worse in 20 years. They're going to be 100 times worse in 50 years. By the time your kids, your grandkids, your great grandkids are trying to make a life for themselves, it's going to be completely unaffordable to buy a house. Today, it's possible, but at that point, the starting price of a home is going to be like $10 million because dollars are worthless and they're becoming more worthless over time. Keep in mind that the dollar can lose 99%, then it can lose another 99%, then it can lose another 99%. So you can work as hard as you want to earn more and spend less, and you cut your expenses to the bone. But if you don't invest the difference, you're screwed. Or another scenario that I see, people are earning $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year. They're earning, which is infinite, and they're earning more than anybody can really dream of. But their spending goes up with their earnings. So instead of getting takeout once or twice a week, as they earn more money, they start inflating their lifestyle and they start getting takeout 10, 15, 20 times a week. They start getting DoorDash every single day. They start getting deliveries of all different kinds of things. They pay for convenience with the income that they have. So they're stuck earning more forever and they have nothing to invest. So why are most people going to stay poor forever? There are a few reasons. Number one, they don't understand how the financial system profits from them. Number two, they don't understand how interest rates work. They don't understand how debt works. They're stuck in these terrible debt contracts and they can't get rid of them. And number three, they don't understand that simple formula. Spend less than you earn and invest the difference. They miss one part of those things. So let's say they have high earnings and they spend less than they earn, but they don't invest the difference. Or they earn a lot of money and their expenses go up with their earnings and they don't have anything to invest for the future. Or the third scenario, sometimes people don't build the skills required to increase their income. So they're getting whatever income they're getting from their job. And their job, of course, doesn't keep up with inflation. So over time, they continue to see their lifestyle just eroding and getting worse. And they can't afford the same things that they could last year or the year before, unless they work way harder or they do a second job or a third job. So your goal should be to increase the gap between what you earn and what you spend. I'm not telling you to cut your lifestyle. I don't believe in that at all. I think that you should enjoy your life, but create so much value that it doesn't matter how much money you spend. You can keep spending as much as you want to forever. And over time, it compounds and it grows and it grows. If you make that gap between your earning and your spending as big as possible, you can invest more. And over time, that investment that you make is going to give you asymmetrical returns. And whatever you invest, if you invest 5,000 a year, eventually that 5,000 a year will be $50,000. If you invest 10,000 a year, that $10,000 eventually will be $100,000. And I want to show you exactly what that would look like. So let's say, for example, you find some way to earn an extra $50 above your expenses and you put all of that into Bitcoin. And Bitcoin gives you a 30% return. So you're going to do this weekly. You keep doing this every single week. Let's say you do Uber, you do dog sitting, you do house sitting, whatever you want to do, dog walking, whatever you do, you find some way to make an extra $50 every single week, growth at 30% per year. And this will keep growing literally forever. That $50 weekly investment after 10 years will be worth $144,000. That's what you call asymmetrical. In 10 years, you would have spent $26,000 on your weekly investments, and your 26,000 would be worth $144,000. You would have earned $118,000 through growth alone. This is the thing that people are ignoring. This is the thing that people don't get. A small investment every week is going to turn into six figures very, very quickly. 10 years go by very quick, especially when you're busy with work, you're busy with life. That 10 years is going to go by super quick. And you're going to see in 10 years, $144,000. And then let's say at the end of that period, that 10-year period, 2035, you no longer have the capacity to buy more Bitcoin. You can't do that extra order on Uber, or you can't do that extra side hustle, whatever it is. You can no longer do it. You just have this 12,069,458 Satoshis. And what we'll do here is we'll change your investments to zero. So you're no longer buying any more Bitcoin. Your growth on that Bitcoin, let's say it drops from 30% to 20% per year, or even let's be more conservative. Let's go 15% per year, just for the sake of this video. So 15% per year, you have 12,068,458 Satoshis. This is your hard asset that you saved over 10 years, worth $144,000 in the beginning. Even though you're putting nothing into it, you can see here it continues to grow. It continues to grow by 2049. So this is 2035, 10 years from now. 2035, you have 0.12 Bitcoin. 2049, you have $1 million. And remember, this is a result of your $50 weekly investment from 2025 to 2035. Your $50 weekly investment, or $26,000 in that 10-year period, turned into over $1 million by 2049. And this is the power of compounding. This is how compounding can work for you to build your wealth without you really having to do much. I mean, you have to do something in the beginning, but over time, the compounding works on your behalf and it works for you to help you build wealth. Now, keep in mind that this is with a very, very conservative, at least in my opinion, a very conservative return. If we go with a higher return, let's say we go with 20%, this number is going to blow your mind. By 2046, you're at over $1 million. Let's say it stays consistent at about 30% per year for the next few years, let's say for the next couple of decades. By 2043, you'd have $1.1 million. So do whatever you can to increase your income, cut your expenses if you can, if you have to, and investing the difference. Don't leave it in cash. Don't leave it in a bank account. Your bank account is going to give you nearly nothing. Now, let's say you did the same thing, and instead of putting that $50 a week into an investment like Bitcoin, you just kept it in your bank account and it gave you a 1% return, which is actually pretty high. $50 per week will take decades to turn it into $1 million. You can see here, by 2151, you still wouldn't have $1 million. You'd still have $657,000. In fact, the value that you do save will be worth less because the cost of living will continue to rise. Let's say you have $60,000 in annual expenses today. In 2151, if they grow at 5% per year, which I think is going to happen, I think it's going to be worse than that. By 2151, those expenses are going to be $28 million per year. Your $50 in extra savings per week would do absolutely nothing for you because, number one, you're not taking advantage of an asymmetrical opportunity. And number two, the compounding on your bank account's savings account is going to be so slow that it won't make a difference in your overall financial goals. So back to this formula: earn more, spend less, invest the difference. Earn more because your earnings can be infinite. You can earn as much money as you want to. Spend less, but of course, don't spend too much time on doing this because the amount of expenses that you can cut in your life is finite. You have a minimum number that you can reach. And after that, you probably can't cut any more. And then the final step, invest the difference. Whatever excess money you earn above your expenses, find some way to invest it in an asset that gives you those asymmetrical returns and allows you to take advantage of compounding. Building personal finance skills isn't fun. Personal finance isn't a fun topic to really go into for most people. They don't really want to look into it, but the returns that you'll get from learning personal finance, just basic finance, you don't even have to go into the details. You don't have to go into hedge funds. You don't have to invest your money with private equity. This isn't as complicated as Wall Street wants you to think it is. All you have to do is, let's say you want to go really, really conservative and you don't want to buy something like Bitcoin, buy the S&P 500. I don't personally recommend that anymore. Like I said before, I would recommend going into Bitcoin. If you want to learn more about what Bitcoin is, I highly recommend that you join that community. We do weekly live sessions where we talk about what Bitcoin is and how it works and all the things that affect its market. If you found value in this video, I'd really appreciate it if you leave a thumbs up. And you can also watch this video here where I explain how $1 million probably won't be enough for you to retire.